The Hebrew word Yom means a day, but not specifically 24-hour period, but instead more generically, like in a day that something occurs. Now, some people try to make this only, applied to the daylight. And sure, it can apply to the daylight. It's been used in all these ways. We're talking about a primitive Hebrew verb, root verb. But we can specifically be talking about a day in which something is occurring, such as a Shabbat day, as a day in which something is occurring, not specifically talking about daylight. Not specifically even referring to the sun. An example would be a day of the month. In that day, Hawa made a covenant. In that day, with the daylight, does that have anything to do with light? Or is it, something happening? Is something occurring, such as a Shabbat, a rest? Is a rest occurring in that day? Is there a day where your rest occurs? And is that the covenant? The word can also refer to light, the light part of the day in contrast with the night. But we got to remember something about this light. Let there be light, my Nag, so we can see clearly. In the beginning, Hawa created the heavens and the earth. Now the earth was unformed and void. Darkness was upon the face of the deep. Spirit of Hawa hovered over the face of the water. And Hawa said, let there be light. And there was light. But where was the sun? Where's the daylight from the sun? So if we're just referring to Yom as the day in contrast with the night, then what is the light part? What's the light? What's the let there be light? Why? Without the sun, without the so-called day. So the Yom is about the occurrence. The Yom is about a day that something is occurring, more than per se the day in contrast with the night. Why? It's about the day that your rest is occurring, your covenant is occurring, your commandment, your code is popping off. The Yom has to do with something occurring. What occurred here without the sun was light. And there was light, and Hawa saw the light, and that was good. So you're talking about a greater light, my Naga, that has nothing to do with the sun or so-called daylight. And we're just surfing the wave. I mean, we're just getting that water, my naga, because, the water continues, man. Hawa called the light day, but the light had no sun. In the darkness he called night, and there was evening, and there was morning one day. So the evening and the morning were a day, right? A yom, when something was occurring. It wasn't just the morning that was a day. It was the evening and the morning. I mean, we got to get it like it's the first time, my noggin. You know what I'm saying? Because we keeping the code and we want to make sure we popping off with clarity so you can do whatever you got to do. But you need to know why we do what we do right here in Drop Nation. We talking Shabbat. We talking keeping the code. We talking the Yom. And we're going to get into it, a little more into Leviticus and into the Day of Atonement and the feast, what I'm saying, that is marking a period where the transgressions are being, forgiven and, we are being cleansed of all the energy that was bringing us, all the hijack energy that was distracting us from seeing clearly. So when we see clearly, how do we rest? When we finally get back to clarity, when we can finally take a breath, how do we rest? We're about to get that in Leviticus 23. And, it has to be, something that can be verified with multiple witnesses, right? So we need to get, multiple scripts, multiple accounts of how we rest, how we keep our Shabbat, and why we rock with our Shabbat from evening to evening. Why do we do it? You know what I mean? Not that it's wrong for you to do anything this and anything otherwise. And, we just want you to have an understanding of how the Nagas over here in Drop Nation pop off, man. So we see clearly that the Yom is referring to something occurring, but can also refer to the day in contrast with night, but specifically a light part of the day. And right here, we have light, but that light is the day, and there is no sun. The sun ain't created until when? I mean, let there be lights, boom. And Hawa made two great lights. All right. And this was what day? The fourth day. But on the first day, there was already day and night. So you need to understand that there's a light that has nothing to do with the sun. And when we are, getting our preparation, just like the Shabbat, you get your preparation, right when that cycle is reoccurring, because it's all about something occurring, right? When this cycle, when this day is reoccurring, this marker, this day is occurring, this Yom is occurring, you are already getting the light, my Naga, from above the firmament, man, that pure water that's just being available, in a pure stream of water just for the Naga, just for the Naga. It's a beautiful vibration just for you. It has nothing to do with the sun. It has nothing to do with the sun because the sun has nothing to do with the day and the night. Let's go, man. We just popping off, man. I want to give a shout out to everyone surfing the wave, man. And you digging in, in the drop chatter, man. You know what I'm saying? All the family making it happen, man, on the regular. Coming in here and just sharing the great news, man, sharing the flow. This is where you come to share the flow. Hey, love to devote, man. Moonboy, Aqua Charmaine, always popping off, man. Dracan Canoe. This is where you come to share the flow. The bro said he just kicked off some novels, man. 15 years making these books. Hey, man, the bro is kicking off some real spill documentation. Love to Drakan Canoe, man. Keep doing your thing, man. Sharing the good news, and keeping the water flowing is what the Naga do at 432thedrop.com, man. So come over here, man. Support AI, my sister V, sister Vanessa, allow Hawaii. Make sure you hit her up, man. You know, it's a beautiful flow because it's all for the tribe, man. You know what I mean? It's all for the water. Y'all still got that water flowing, man? Do you still got your water flow? So why do we do what we do? Why do we keep the code? Well, I think that's clear. Because we don't want to put another power before power. You know what I'm saying? Why don't we kill and steal from each other? I think that's clear. But why do we keep Shabbat, my nigga? From sundown to sundown. You know, and for some people, this could be a sensitive topic. We got a lot of hypersensitivity going on. I think it's a crux, you know what I'm saying? I think it's a plague, you know what I mean? Because in Proverbs 6, the spirit of wisdom loves correction. And at some point, you know, we have family that don't love correction. They just want to, you know, hold on to their own ways. That's the stiff-neckedness. That's the stubbornness of Israel. Your old ways might be having you in a church. Your old ways might be saying, well, I've been doing this. It's worked for me. That's the same thing the Christian says, you know what I'm saying? But they don't understand that Hawa is popping off for them and giving them love, giving them, you know what I'm saying, a grace period to hopefully learn and putting them in the right position around the right people to learn from, you know, but in our community, we have such a spirit of competition and ego, and I gotta be right. This gotta be right for me, and I can't let this go. And that's the plague. That's that plague in the wilderness. That's that stiff-neckednness in the wilderness. Why do we pop off from evening to evening or sundown to sundown every 7 days? Let's go. I just need you to keep the water flowing. Let's make sure we got enough water. Because Drop Nation, Drop Nation, Drop Nation got the water. Let's go to Leviticus, man. Leviticus 23. We're going to kick it right here, digging on the Day of Atonement, verse 26. Wow. Yahweh spoke to Moshe, saying, also the 10th day of this month is the Day of Atonement. It shall be a holy convocation for you, and you shall humble yourselves. Now they put in parentheses by fasting. And this is the Christianity, and this is, you know, the conjecture to where now all we see is, you know, to humble ourselves means to fast or to afflict our soul, right? In another translation, it'll say to afflict your soul. But does it say that, or is it being put in parentheses? Let's get it over here. Let's get it in the Tanakh 1917, because some family is in the doctrine, you know what I'm saying? And they might see Leviticus 23 through the eyes of a doctrine and not, you know, through a dragonfly perspective, not so that they can see what the point is, man. And I'm speaking to the tribe, and this has everything to do with everybody. So ain't no hypersensitivity out here. This ain't about one thing. This ain't about one person. This ain't about one situation. This is about the entire nation seeing clearly and getting in code and vibrating in unity, my nigga. So we can give Hawa a full day, a full rest, my naga. I think Hawa deserves the fullness of the preparation and the fullness of the meal. Let's go. So there they put in parentheses by fasting. I just want to see over here in the Tanakh, you know, 1917 Tanakh. That's where we're at right here. How does it pop off, man? We're just falling back, doing a little scripture study, my nog. You're just surfing away. Had a wonderful Shabbat with the, droplets, man. The tribe is strong, and it's all Baruch. All praise to one. All right, verse 32. Well, let's get it from here. So that was verse 27, right? Also the 10th day. All right, let's go. Verse 27, howbeit on the 10th day of the 7th month is day of atonement, and there shall be a holy convocation unto you, and you shall afflict your soul. It don't say by fasting, though. For some reason right here, they had to interject the word by fasting. Now, this is out the AMP Amplified, called the Amplified translation, the Amplified Bible. And I like digging on different translations because that's how you get the water. That's how you get the drop, because not one translation is going to have it all. So you got to be able to cross-reference, my nog. You can't be stuck, in one vein. You got to be able to, get downstream, my nog. You know what I'm saying? Connect the flow, sever the flow. So you see two interesting things in this translation. One, it doesn't say afflict your soul. It says humble yourselves. This says afflict your soul, right? So you can say, well, to afflict your soul is to humble yourself, and to humble yourself is to afflict your soul based on what? To humble yourself, my noggin, for your creating is to be in code, is to be in the flow, is not to be arguing and going against the wave. To humble yourselves doesn't have to be by fasting, but you can fast. There's nothing wrong with fasting. Fast is a good thing. But please don't get it twisted that this script is just talking about fasting, because then you're acting like the hijack that has to put it in parentheses here. When it doesn't say that here, now you're adding your conjecture to make it just about fasting. Maybe you're missing the point. Maybe when you humble yourselves, you bring your offering made by fire, right? Because back in the day, you had to literally take the life of an innocent animal to bear the death that you have afflicted by being outside of the code. And all the death you brought on yourself by the murder or the stealing or literally putting a power before your power, you brought death to your family. And in order to offset that, you needed an offering. And that animal then had to bear the transgression or that energy, just like, karma. You put good energy out, you get good energy back. You break the code, you create a ripple effect, you create an interference pattern. And that has to come back to you. But Hawa gave you a buffer. He gave you these animals, right? And no more do you have a buffer. You don't got no animals taking away your sin. Nah, you getting that shit head on. You get hit head on from your own transgression. We still getting hit by some of our ancestors' transgression. We getting hit directly now, my nah. We don't got no offering no more, right? We don't got no offering made by fire. We in the fire, my nah. We also got that water. The goat. So don't get it, locked in your head that afflict your soul must mean too fast. Afflict your soul, can mean, any level of humility you got to get to, you know what I'm saying, to get to a point where you can present yourself before the Creator. Fasting is a great way to do it. You know what I'm saying? You can fast in different ways. You can fast not just from food, but from social media. I mean, you can do all kind of things to get the distractions out the way to afflict your soul. You can get into meditation. You can, get into a point of remembrance. You know what I mean? There's no blueprint on how to afflict your soul. They have to put it in parentheses on a naga. You know what I'm saying? Just to get you into that mentality directly, to get into some type of one way, one lane thing. So humble yourself. Just read it, just read it without the conjecture, right? You shall humble yourself, present an offering before a while. You shall not do any work on this day. It is a day of atonement, to make atonement on your behalf before Hawa, your power. If there is any person who will not humble himself on this day, he shall be cut off from his people. Now, what does that just mean? To fast? Anybody who doesn't fast shall be cut off? You see what I'm saying? You see what I'm saying? Now you got somebody getting cut off because they didn't fast, when in reality, they didn't humble themselves, man, on this day. Now we're going to get into what's the expression of humbling. What's a way that we can, as a tribe, express our humility? What's a way that we can humble ourselves? Let's keep reading, because it doesn't just have to do with fasting, my nut. This script is not about fasting and whoever doesn't fast or afflict their souls, right? Leviticus 23, let's get the Tanakh version. It's going to say afflict the soul. Whosoever soul it be that shall not be afflicted that same day. Not be afflicted. Damn, I mean, what does that mean? You got to be tormented, tortured, or do you have to be humble? What does it mean to be humble? Let's go. Will be cut off from the people. So what action, if it's not just by fasting in parentheses, because Hawa didn't put these parentheses here, right? We're talking translations. Got it. So what other form of humility can a Naga do on this day so that we don't get cut off? Let's go. If there's any person who does any work, it's about the work again, which means it's about the rest again. Now we're getting into the Shabbat. Got it. Because now we're back in code. Because the only reason that you have to have a day of atonement is because you were out of code. And now we got to get this feast day just to remember to keep the code and to do no work on your holy day. To humble yourself is to do no work, my naga. Who does any work on this day, I will destroy that person from among the people. Sounds like the same with the Shabbat, right? So what's this script about? The Day of Atonement or the Shabbat and keeping the code? Because if you don't, you're going to have to humble yourself and you're going to have to atone for it. Why are you atoning? Because you were doing work when you shouldn't be doing work. You out of code. Any person who does any work on this day, I will destroy that person from among his people. Again, what does it mean to afflict yourself? Does it mean to fast? I don't see that here. Afflict your soul. Any person who is not afflicted or humbled. So if you're just doing your work and you're going to the mall and you're just doing your thing, you're not afflicted. You're not really understanding. You're not humbled on this day, man. You're cut off. Or you're going to a party, you know what I'm saying, on the Shabbat, you know what I mean? Or you Friday night or whatever, you know what I'm saying? It's just another day. It's another day. The Yom, it's just another Yom. It's another occurrence. It's another covenant. Another light? Or are we just talking about the greater light before the sun was created? Before the sun was created. And who and whatsoever soul it be that does any manner of work, that soul will I destroy from the people. You shall do no manner of work. It is a statute forever throughout your generations and all your dwellings. Sounds like a Shabbat, Khan. It shall be unto you a Shabbat, Manan. So this whole, situation, this whole example, whole macrocosm, just to come back to the Shabbat. And you shall afflict your soul. How? How? We just went over it. You shall do no manner of work. Again, if you're not afflicting your soul, you're just popping off. You're going to the mall, you're just doing your thizzle. You're not even sitting down to rest and remember. You don't have no solemn rest. You ain't kicking off your Shabbat with that work. That's not humbling. That's not afflicting your soul, my naga. That's not humbling. It is to be a Shabbat of complete rest, not just when you see the daytime, but also in the preparation that you call night, which is a new day. As the sun has finished exhausting its energy from the previous day, a new cycle, a new occurrence, a new yom, a new occurrence. Because a day that something occurs is this holy day, my nugget, of solemn rest. And you shall afflict your soul, or and you shall humble yourself. How do you humble yourself? You shall do no work. 360 perspective. This ain't got, you can put the fasting into it, right? You can interject the fasting with your parentheses or your doctrine, right? Your doctrine can put fasting in parentheses. Your doctrine can make you put a fasting in parentheses, and that's good. You can fast all day. But my naga, if you fasting and working, you ain't humble. If you fasting and you working, my naga, you cut off, but you thinking that you cut off because you weren't fasting, right? On your atonement. But what are you atoning for? Because you weren't keeping a code. What code? You weren't keeping your Shabbat as a complete rest. It's about the rest. The rest is your humility. The rest is your affliction, which is not you tormenting yourself, but literally you feeling this shit. You gotta feel this shit. You gotta feel the pain that the Creator's been going through, waiting for you to wake up, man. Calling another daddy, another mama. In the 9th day of the month at evening, from evening unto evening, you shall keep your Shabbat. So yes, it has to do with the Day of Atonement on the 9th day of the month, but it's giving you an example on the purest day after you have had deliverance, rebirth from your transgression. You are popping off. You are pure water. It's giving you the perfect example of how to keep the Shabbat during this Day of Atonement, during this feast, my noggin. From evening to evening shall you keep your Sabbath. Now, if Hawa is going to give us this example after being purified, you think he's going to switch it for you to do something else later? And, I got to clarify all that because some people pop off Shabbats differently on different days. Some people, just do a daytime Shabbat, only when they see the light. Only when they see the light. And I ask you, which light? Because the light was created before the sun. And the light that we feel has nothing to do with what you visually see. It's what you feel, what you're afflicted by, what you're humbled by. So if you're just going to do a daytime thing, then you got half a Shabbat, my knock. And I think the Creator deserves a full day. You should humble yourself. Humble yourself. From evening to evening, you shall keep your Sabbath. All right, well, what if this is just talking about the Day of Atonement and all the other Sabbaths are daytime Sabbaths? I don't know. Is there any other script we can get to validate an evening to evening or sundown to sundown flow? Let's go, man. Nehemiah, let's pop off. Let's pop off for the dismount, my nigga. Hey, man. Shabbat Shalom. Keep the code and just rock steady. Don't make things more complicated when you could be unified and go in the flow. If you're going to be a wave surfer, truly be humble and surf the wave and give all praise to Hawa. Nehemiah 13:18, my noggin. Let go. Did not your fathers thus, and did not our Hawa bring all this evil upon us and upon this city? Yet you bring more wrath upon Israel by profaning the Shabbat. You're not humbling yourself. You're not afflicting your soul. And it came to pass that when the gates of Jerusalem began to be dark before the Sabbath, I commanded that the doors be shut and commanded that they not be open to after the Sabbath. Body bag, Daniel. Body bag for the illusion. So my naga, when we're talking about evening to evening, you keep your Shabbat, Nehemiah 13 confirms that when the gates of Jerusalem began to be dark before the Shabbat, that's the evening, Khan, I commanded that the doors be shut. Why? Because they were honoring the preparation as well as the meal. Hawa is now preparing that light for you. Hawa is preparing your daytime, but you are now enjoying the ingredients and giving honor to Hawa when it began to be dark. You ain't in the streets popping off before Shabbat. You are keeping Shabbat with what? Your gates are shut. You ain't running around in the streets. Your gates are shut. When the gates of Jerusalem begin to be dark before Shabbat, evening to evening, you shall keep your Sabbath. So this is why we rock when it gets dark before Shabbat. We shut our doors and command that they should not be open to after the Shabbat, manana. And some of my servants set I over the gates, and there should no burden be and to be brought in on the Sabbath day. So somebody needs to guard the gates, my naga, before it get dark, my naga. That's evening to evening, man. I mean, look, we over here just keeping the water flowing, crystallizing and clarifying, my naga. You got that water? Drop Nation got that water. Wah! Sundown to sundown. Before it gets dark, my noggin, shut your gates. Honor the preparation of the meal. Give Hawa a full day of rest and zine up and get your water directly. Allow Hawa. Let's get a couple more scripts for the dismount, my noggin. Let's get a couple more scripts. Let's go to Isaiah 58. You know, we just keeping our code, man. Rocking steady. Keeping our Shabbat. Making sure no hijack gets in our gates. But if your gates are open, you might get hijacked. And what did Ty Battle say? You gotta dodge your own damn hijack, man. Let's go. If you turn away your foot because of the Shabbat from pursuing your business on my holy day and call the Shabbat a delight, don't take, don't lack in delight for the Shabbat. Don't lack in the delight because it's night. You know what I'm saying? Just because it's night, don't lack in your delight, my nah. You call that Shabbat a delight. And the holy of Hawa honorable, and shall honor it. You honor the preparation and the meal. Not doing your wanted ways. That's how you're afflicting your soul. Not just by fasting in parentheses, but not doing the things you want to do. Rest completely. Not pursuing your business, not speaking thereof. Then shall thou delight yourself in Hawa. Now Hawa can see you. Now you keeping the code. And I will make you to ride upon the high places on your dragon, my naga, 'cause you riding high upon the high places. And I will feed you with the heritage of Jacob, your father. Oh, you got your land back, you got your stuff. For the mouth of Hawa has spoken it, my naga. Hawa has spoken it, my naga. If you honor your Shabbat, your holy day, man, right now, a lot of us is turning away our foot, man. Are you making your Shabbat a delight? I mean, you got to get it like it's the first time. Let's go Genesis chapter 2 for the dismount. And Hawa and the heaven and the earth were finished, and all the host of them. And on the seventh day, Hawa finished his work which he had made, and he rested on the seventh day from all his work which he had made. Again, on the day we just talking about a day that something occurs, a yom, right? A yom, right? Something's occurring. What just occurred? Hawa did what? His work, which he had made. So he rested on the seventh day from all his work. Now, did he just start to rest when he saw the light in the daytime? Or did he rest after his work was done after the sixth day at nighttime? Did he say, I ain't gonna rest because it's nighttime. I'm not gonna hollow this part out. But when I see the sunrise, Then I'll start my Shabbat. Then I'll start to rest. I'll start to rest when I see the sun. What is he, a vampire? What is he, a vampire? Or is he going to rest at night? He's only going to rest during the day? Or did he rest as soon as his work was done on the seventh day, or the Yom, or the occurrence from all his work which he had made? On the seventh day he hallowed it, because that in it he rested from all his work which Hawa in creating had made. Did he rest for half a day, or did he fully take the day and hallow the day, hallow the Yom, where something occurs? Hey, man. Exodus 20 got us in cold, man. Nah, man. I want to get back on that. I want to get back on that river drift, man. Nah, man. I don't want that, man. All right, hold up, man. I want to get back on that river, man. Yeah, I want to get back on that river, man. Sometimes you got to get through the hijack just to get back to the water. So, wow, this is why we keep our Shabbat. This is why we keep the code. This is our timing. Imagine if all the Nagas rested on Friday night and didn't spend money. You know what I'm saying? And I mean, that's the most efficient way to boycott, you know what I'm saying, financially hitting the pockets of all these, so-called jabronis and, high-level manufacturers of this and that. Imagine if the Naga rested for a full day, didn't spend money, didn't go out on Friday. I mean, that's solidarity 101, my Naga. I'm telling the Nagas to rest and remember Hawa, not to have them popping off on Friday night, my Naga. Allah Hawa, we telling the children to rest. I mean, hey, even if you started resting on Thursday, no one could throw no stones at you for resting early, my Naga. No one could say, oh, you're spending too much time with the Creator. So if anything, we just giving you more time. More time than we would have had if we were just distracted in the matrix. Instead, we humble ourselves and we afflict our souls by not doing the stuff we want to do and resting. And if you want to fast, allow one. Exodus 20 got us in cold. Managi. Exodus 20 got us in cold. Somebody say, hey, what's this cold thing about? You keep talking about keeping the cold. You keep telling the Nagas to keep the code. What's this code thing about? I said Exodus 20. Exodus 20 got a Zen code. Remember the Shabbat, keep it holy. 6 days shall you labor, do your work, but the seventh day is a Shabbat to Hawa. In it you shall do no manner of work. It's always about the work, because you're not afflicting your soul if you're not, separating or detaching from those things that you would normally be doing or that you want to do. That's an affliction. Your children might call that time out, might not. You know what I mean? But it's a sacrifice that we make. But it's really a joyful thing when you really flow in the Zion with Hawa, man. Nobody work. None of your workers work. You know what I'm saying? The stranger in your gate don't work. Verse 11, for in 6 days Hawa made the earth, right? Back to Genesis, right? Back to Genesis 2. The sea and all that is in them, and rested on the seventh day. So you remember that Hawa rested. He didn't wait for the daytime to rest. He rested, before the sun went down, from evening to evening. Wherefore Hawa Baruch, the Shabbat day, and hallowed it, my Nagi, from evening to evening, right? Again, Leviticus 23, we popping off, man. We popping off from evening to evening. And if this is the example, with the Day of Atonement, then it's the perfect example. It shall be unto you a Shabbat of solemn rest. And you shall afflict your soul. Why? Because you need to remember your code, remember your Creator rested in the 9th day of the month at evening, from evening unto evening you shall keep it. And that's after you've afflicted your soul. And that's after you've made atonement. And that's when you're walking in purity. You are keeping your Shabbat from evening to evening. Nehemiah 13. Allahu. We just keeping our ancient love song alive. And it came to pass that when the gates of Jerusalem began to be dark before Shabbat, from evening to evening, I commanded that the doors should be shut, and commanded that they should not be opened till after the Shabbat. And some of my servants said over the gates, I had the guardians to guard the wall to make sure nothing came in when it began to be dark. Body bag for the illusion. And there shall be no burden brought in. Don't bring no burden in on our Shabbat. Don't come hijacking us with a smile. Don't come, like a sheep in wolf's clothing or a wolf in sheep's clothing. We guard our gates, my Nagi. We surf our wave, man. You know what I'm saying? We just surfing the wave, my Nagi. Halawa. Like Dawada to the tribe. Leviticus got us in code. And with Hawa, the ancient love songs of old are about to be retold. Alawah, Shabbat, Shalawah. Keep the Shabbat. Rest, my noggin. And stay true, man. Stay up. Zahn up, my noggin. Get your rest. And keep choosing up. Dawadah.